Daily Moves video includes a selection of moves that you can build into your day that will improve your ability to keep active and moving through your pregnancy and remain ache and pain free. So the first movement we're going to do is called a hip hinge. Now this movement is really important to maintain your posture through your pregnancy. And the reason why posture is so important is because it helps us keep our body in alignment. It helps reduce aches and pains associated with pregnancy posture, so we can stay active throughout our pregnancy. Now, a nice idea to use to find good posture is if you've got a mop handle or a broomstick at home, or any type of solid stick that you can use. So what I'd like you to do is to take that stick behind your back. Now you can do this up against a wall as well. And what I'd like you to feel is that your tailbone, your upper back and the back of your head are all in contact with either your pole, your stick or the wall. What you may find is that your head is forwards, or maybe your pelvis is shifted forwards towards your toes. So I'd like you to bring the hips back, and I'd like you to bring your head position back, so we can try and find and maintain this neutral position all the way through your pregnancy as much as you can. Now if you've got hold of a pole or a stick at this point, what I'd like you to do is just to hold it in place with one hand above your head, one hand just below your bottom. Soften the knees just slightly, and we're just going to hinge forwards from the hips and then come back up to stand. Hinge forwards from the hips and come back up to stand. So the idea here is you maintain contact with those 3 points on your pole, all the way down into that hinge forwards and then all the way back up. Now if you're doing this against the wall, then start off against the wall and just hinge down away from the wall and then come back up. So this is a really nice movement to maintain all the way through your pregnancy, to keep your posture in check. Lovely, and let's do one more. Good. Okay, right, so after that introduction, we're going to move on to an exercise where we're in a staggered stance. We're standing with one foot in front of the other, and I want you to bring your weight forwards over your front heel. Now the back foot is just there to keep you balanced. We're going to have the hands on the hips, and we're going to find that nice neutral posture again through your body. From here we're going to hinge forwards just like we did, but this time most of your body weight's through that front leg. And then to come back up, we're going to push this front heel down into the floor, and we're going to find the glute. So in this front leg here, we're going to give that glute a little bit of a squeeze to come back up. We're going to hinge down and then come back up. So I want you to imagine that you're reaching down to pick something up in front of your toes, and then we lift. We're going to breathe in to come down and exhale to come back up. You can keep your hands to your hips if you prefer, but try and maintain that head position as much as you can. As you come down, try not to allow the head to fall and you end up looking between your knees. So keep that head lifted and the chin tucked in. Good, nice deep breaths in on the way down, breathing out on the way up. Just trying to be aware of that nice neutral position through the whole spine that we practiced before. Good, and that bottom is moving backwards behind you as well. What we don't want to do is to allow the pelvis and the hips to come forwards. We want the bottom to go back. Let's do one more on this leg. Good, and then let's change sides. So we're going to bring the other leg forwards, take the other leg behind you. Now remember, the back leg is just there to keep you balanced and supported. Bring the hands to the hips. Soften that front knee, and then we're going to lean down over that heel and push the heel into the floor. Give that glute a little bit of a squeeze on the way up, and then release it as we come down. Good. At the top of the movement, just try not to come too far and thrust the pelvis forwards. Keep the pelvis back over that front heel. And you can add that reach down and up if you want to. So reach down, exhale to lift. Good. Let's do a couple more here. And hold it. Lovely. Right, okay. So let's move into some squats. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and we're going to turn the toes slightly outwards. Now we can have the hands to the hips to start off with. As you drop back into your squat, what I'd like you to do is imagine your bottom is going back behind you as if you're going to sit down on a chair. Sometimes it helps to have a chair behind you because then you can get that movement spot on where we want it. Again, here we are being aware of your position through your whole spine, and you're breathing out as you come up. So breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. Good. So the knees are coming slightly outwards as we come down to that squat. They're heading towards the little toes rather than falling over the big toe. So keep those knees nice and wide. Breathe in as we come down, exhale as we come up. Now the arm position, we can stay on our hips, or if you'd like, you can reach forwards as you come down and then lower the arms as you reach up. Good. Keep sending the hips back behind you. Really feel that you are sitting down into your heels and not forwards into your toes. Good. Let's do two more. Good. Right, okay. So from here we're going to come down to a kneeling position. So dependent on the surface that you're working on, what you may like to do is to pop a blanket or a towel on the floor for under your knees. We're going to come into some push-ups. Now we can do this using a chair. Your hands are on the chair, your knees are down on the floor, and from here we're going to take a nice deep breath in. The elbows are going to come out to the side, and we're going to breathe out to push back up. Breathe in to come down, breathe out to come back up. Now there's a slightly easier option for you if you want it, is to do this up against the wall, so you're in more of an upright position. Again, we're trying to maintain that nice neutral position through the spine and the head. Try not to allow the head to look back here towards the knees and your bottom to stick up in the air. Okay? Try and take your body forwards. Take some of your body weight forwards into the upper body, into the hands. Exhale, push away. Good, let's do two more push-ups here. And last one. Good, okay, right, staying in this position, we're just going to take a little step back there with the knees, take a little step forward with the hands, and you're just going to drop down into that nice forward stretch. What I want you to be aware of, I don't want you to sink too much here through the lower back. So I want you to lift the lower back slightly up towards the ceiling and then just drop more into a shoulder stretch. So take some nice deep breaths in this position. And one more. Take a nice deep breath in and then exhale out. Good. Okay, So coming into all fours, we just want to make sure that the wrists are lined up under the shoulders. So we don't want the hands too far in front, nor do we want them too far behind. So line them up underneath the shoulders, and then the same with the knees. Make sure that the knees are lined up underneath those hips. Then from here, we're going to lift your tailbone nice and high. So the tailbone is right at the base of the spine. We're going to lift that nice and high. And then we're going to tuck it away underneath as far as we can. Untuck. And then tuck under. Again, try and keep your head position in that nice neutral place where the head is up, the chin is tucked in, you're feeling nice and long through the back of the neck. The shoulder blades and the shoulders are down away from the ears. And we're just slowing our breathing down again, taking some nice breaths in and out. Good. Okay, so I'd like you to find a neutral position now. So neutral position is somewhere between those 2 points that we were just working between. So we don't want the tailbone too far up in the air, and we don't want that tailbone too tucked under. We want to find somewhere in the middle. And then from here, we're going to take a nice deep breath in as you rock back, and then exhale to come back over the wrists. Inhale to rock back, and exhale forwards. As you rock back here, it's an opportunity to release the hips and the pelvis. So I want you to imagine the sitting bones, the two bony points that lay just underneath your bottom. I want you to imagine as you rock back and breathe in, you can release those sitting bones, relax between that space, and then exhale to come back forwards. Inhale, feel free to pause here for a second or two, and then exhale, come forwards. Just having your knees as wide as you need to, so obviously as pregnancy progresses, your bump and baby is going to get a little bit bigger, so you might need to have your knees slightly wider than hip distance apart. Rocking back, breathe in, and exhale, come forwards. Good, let's do one more. And come forwards. Good, okay. Right, so from here we're going to stay down in a seated position. You are welcome, if you want to sit on top of a firm folded up blanket or towel, or you can even come to a seat on a chair if that's more comfortable for you. So we're going to come down to a cross-legged position, either leg forward to begin with. So we're going to start with hands onto the knees, and again find that nice lifted neutral posture. Watch that your ribs and your chest aren't shifting forwards of your hips. So let's bring the rib cage back, feel nice and long through the back of the body. We're going to twist round, reach towards the opposite knee, and then twist round to the other direction. Keeping nice and down and relaxed through the shoulders. Keeping that chin tucked in, nice and long, up to the crown of the head. Good. You might find that you can get a little bit more of a twist the more that you do this movement. And let's go for one more on each side. Good. Okay, right from here, let's bring the fingertips down to the sides of our body. We're going to reach up through one arm, and we're going to come all the way over into a side bend. So I want you to side bend here through your whole body. It's not just the arm that's coming over, it's a reach up, and then the whole body comes over to the side. Now your bottom, your hips on both sides, stay in contact with what you're sitting on, and then we come back up. Breathe in as the arm comes up, breathe out as we come down into that stretch. Good. Lovely. Let's go for one more on each side. And lift up and over. Good, well done. Okay, so like I said, that is a nice selection of daily moves that you can include throughout your day to keep aches and pains related with pregnancy at bay.